The following podcast is a Next Level production.
This is someone's idea of heaven?
What the?
Hey, buddy.
You. No. Get back here. Get back here.
That tickles.
Let me go. You may not be able to feel pain, but I can throw you through walls for all eternity, Klaus. You will never get a moment of peace and quiet. I will never stop.
No. The void is my house. It might be a bouncy house, but it's mine.
You don't want to help the family. Fine. But the love of my life is walking into hell.
I don't even know if I can.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Robert.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about the Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episodes 9 and 10. Now, sorry, panelists, that we haven't had, it's been inconsistent with, certain episodes coming out, but we're getting there. We're actually getting there. And then the next episode coming up shortly will be Peacemaker Season 1 review. But in this case, we're covering Umbrella Academy. But the next episode, you will have Steve Brown, as well as Rob and myself, and we're going to be covering Season 1 of Peacemaker. So keep that in mind. So if you have any feedback for that, we'll let you know about the feedback at the end of the episode. Or if you're a listener consistently, you know how to send feedback. So with that, we're going to move right into Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 9, 7 Bells. And the synopsis for this particular episode is one last plea and vote. At the meeting, Reginald tells tales of the same myth where the world is ending, but if 7 bells are rung, then it will be saved. This was installed by whoever or whatever built time and space, so there could be a backdoor to fix this all. So that's literally the plot, if you think about it. But it doesn't really talk about what happens in between, or memories, or flashbacks, or just feelings in general, too, because a lot of this particular episode, I'm really moving right along into my initial thoughts, but my initial thoughts are literally just, it's moving into that aspect of historical feelings within the characters. Luther, I think, honestly, each of the Umbrella Academy students that were there, and how, this certain situation that Reginald kind of throws at them, and they're, even though they're skeptical, they still band together to figure out what they want to do. In the end, they stick to their thoughts and their well-being, and that shows something a little bit that's pretty cool within each character. I think it's sort of like a human response to something, but since Reginald's not human, as we know,
exactly,
he won't accept that. So it's one of those challenges that it was, because you get to see how each, at the very end when they vote, identify with their own humanity and the world itself, and how they feel about their quote-unquote adoptive father. Yeah, which leads into so much, too, because this guy's been, he's an alien. He took these kids in, trained them on various multiverse points, if you think about it. And it's always some sort of the same kind of concoction, because you get the Sparrows, you get the Umbrellas, who knows whatever multiverse versions of them are there. But I think at the very end of the season, I think we do see another version. But we'll get into that when we get into episode 10.
Right.
But the, as I said before, everybody, spoilers. So obviously you had long time to watch this show or this season. So if you're following through as you're watching for the first time, that's great. If not, sorry. And then for those who've already watched it and are just listening to this because, hey, I want to hear a different perspective, it's fine. It might be different, might be the same for many other podcasters, but we're going to try to do our best and go into what we thought within the episode itself. And you could probably contrast and compare it. But nonetheless, we'll move right into it. So, Rob, what were your thoughts about this particular episode? I said it was very much foreshadowing, more in depth, all that good stuff about these particular characters.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of I mean, of course, there's a lot of revelations on where this whole season is going.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these characters on how they've changed, especially Allison, how Allison has been kind of portrayed almost in the evil.
She was
evil,
more meek in the very beginning of the series,
right? But because of everything but because of everything that she's been going through, I mean, she's become basically the bad guy almost the bad guy of this season.
Yes,
and so so kind of very interesting how they took that character in that direction, and you kind of see these revelations when it comes to her on why she does what she does. And you kind of understand why she does it, but it's just the way she goes about it. And throughout this entire season, has been kind of like, wow, they really took this character in a different direction.
Yeah,
I like the fact that it showed also in the beginning, it showed Luther in the on the moon,
mm-hmm.
and Luther being the happy-go-lucky guy that he is. But showing him how he was, very energetic, I guess, in the beginning. And by day 972 or something like that, he was just a mess.
Almost 3 years later.
Yeah, just a complete mess. But we get that revelation of, why
he was there.
Why he was there, which is, and then in the beginning, you're like, who the hell is that person?
And then you realize that somewhat throughout, you get pieces of there.
Correct. So right, I know, like on episode 10, they reveal more, but but yeah, no, it's that was actually very interesting. It just, again, he was very happy in that sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when he first started in the moon, he wasn't as big and bulky, right?
I didn't think so either.
I thought he saw
still
him
had
like
the gorilla parts to him,
right?
But they weren't as bulky. I think it had to do with his regimen of working out,
right,
and the amount of protein that he had on the space station.
He had a lot of soy, man. that was a lot of soy, but yeah, no, it's just that part. I found that interesting, on those moments there. So, but yeah, no, it was again, this episode, and of course, and we'll get into some of those details, but like also towards the end on how bad Reginald, how bad of a character, not the character itself, but
how evil this
character is. And it was all because of what gets revealed towards episode 10. But it's just it's amazing that and then you wonder why these poor kids are broken, and it doesn't matter which version of him. So there was a version of the Umbrella Academy, and then there's the version of the Sparrow Academy and stuff like that.
Correct.
So, but it's still the same. Kind of like this. As a matter of fact, he's probably even worse than the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, he's very more manipulative, I think, and also in the fact that Klaus got him off the drugs that they were doping him with, and that's literally what brought all this out. Because
for
a long time he's been a prisoner of the kids, and just being the spokes representation of the Sparrows. And then once he comes out of that, he sees it as a way of like, all right, I'm going to use this to get what I need.
Exactly.
And he does.
So yeah, so that was that was my thought. My thought, it was like, oh, okay, so it let me see what how Allison, how all this has affected Allison, how it's affected everybody, Victor, Luther, it's just everybody, and
even Lila,
right. And Lila, yeah, you had some a little bit, of a character development there with her, more than what she had before. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
just very interesting. This entire episode, which and it leaves you, kind of like almost with that cliffhanger. It's like, holy crap, what the hell's going on? But the ending of it, I thought was phenomenal too.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, you talk about the ending of 9 or 10?
9.
Okay, 9.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
So, what is your thought?
No, my initial thoughts are already covered. I do agree with you. As like a favorite moment of mine too would be Luther on the moon and his journey, and see how he felt pretty much abandoned, but he had hopeful dreams because, hey, I'm doing this for Dad. I'm doing a
Yes.
special mission for Dad and on the
Exactly.
moon. But he was still pining for Allison throughout that time. If you think about it, you could see him with the pictures and everything.
Right.
And then obviously, that body being shown, how it was developing. I had that in my notes as well. I forgot. And he, and then the breakdown of him. And it's just how he felt. And that's why he feels useless at times. I think this is where we get the whole, he's doing everything for Reginald Hargreaves to love him more. Like
Right.
going to the moon. And we
Mhm.
see this in the later episode, in episode 10, and I definitely will reference it. But the fact also that he's missing out on everything that's going on with Allison and everything else, which causes his depression and even more of his infatuation with her, if you think about it. So a lot of people don't like this particular character within the show, and I noticed.
Who,
But-
Luther?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who don't like him. They think of him as a buffoon, even sometimes, and thinking of the actor itself. But I've had conversations with women and guys. They're like, "Oh, what an idiot! That guy's terrible. He's supposed to be the captain. He sucks." And then they'll get, "Oh, he's not as attractive as you think." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's a first." I've heard
Okay.
that.
I
Yeah.
actually like that character a lot because it just kind of shows, it's just he's well, yeah, he might be the the leader of the group or whatever it is, but he's still, he's a character with a big heart, and at the
He's
same
got
time,
a big heart, but not really much of a brain. He's
yeah,
not
it's just
he's not the Cyclops of the Umbrella Academy, like
No.
an X-Men, He's literally the guy who will hug you, help you out, and work together with you as a group, even though he is deemed as the captain.
Right. But you
Yeah.
have to also remember that with a group like that, which they're so dysfunctional, having him be basically the glue that keeps them almost together,
Yeah.
is what actually helps them, I think, too, at the same time. I think he brings a way of centering them
I
in
think
a
it's
certain way.
I think it's more of like being the older brother representation, even though they technically are siblings, but are not really, biological siblings.
No,
But
exactly.
So they have a collectiveness. They see him as he could, like we were stating, he could be the heart of the group.
Yeah, because everybody, it just seems like everybody does like him. And of course, he has this, or had this big crush, with Allison and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
and again, I'll go back to Allison on the stuff that she's done this season. I mean, everything from even trying to manipulate him,
Mhm.
in a sexual way, which honestly borders on the
Rape.
assault. Yeah, the rape and assault,
Yeah.
which is really, that's why it was very interesting to see her character on, which direction she went.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's just I kind of like, the fact that they revealed that part in the beginning and you're like, oh, and then they reveal why he's there and you're like, what the hell is that? So what's gonna happen there? So I
Mhm.
like that a lot. So yeah, no, it was again, great episode. I like the fact that it left me wanting more. Yeah, wanting more. I was like, oh shit, what's happening? I gotta see the next. That's the great thing about Netflix, is the fact that you have
Go
that
right
binge
into it.
model that go right into it. If this was more of a weekly thing, holy crap, it would have left you for a whole week. You would have been like, I'm gonna pull my hair.
Well, I know people that have done this episode weekly.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I give them a lot of credit too, because it's a lot of staying off the internet.
Yeah.
Anything that dumps on Netflix, and as you and I both know, we're just going to watch it all at once. Or the only thing that really shows that didn't really do that too much would be like on HBO Max. Like with Watchmen, they dropped like the first 2 episodes in a row, and then afterwards it was episodically. Same thing with Peacemaker, I think. And there's like a whole bunch of them. And it makes you wanting more. I guess as soon as you get a little bit more than what you would get out of one particular episode, you would want to see it weekly. But there are those people that are out there that are devoted, not just podcasting. I'm not just talking about podcast friends that are out there that do Netflix shows just like we do. But they would do it episodically. But there are those people who I know personally who are friends that don't even listen to my podcast, which is fine. But they would tell me, like, yeah, I watch it weekly. It's our thing to do, that one thing to do together that time of the week. And it was something that we stumbled upon. Maybe we binge watched it the first season completely through and realized, well, let's spread this out. That's a lot of fortitude, in my opinion, when you get something that's like, it's right there, everything, the whole beans. Now with shows like The Last of Us coming out on HBO Max, they're only doing it episodically.
Correct.
Bang.
I mean, and there's an argument to be said about, you know, whether binging or doing it weekly is a good thing. I think, you know, again, I think Netflix being Netflix and being the one that came out with that binge model first. Yeah. That was fun because it was like, oh crap, I get a whole season. I could just binge watch it and I'm done. I don't have to wait every week. But when Disney came out with The Mandalorian, and they started doing it every week, it made people, you know, just talk about each episode and then get them excited for the next. So there's a you know, there's a good reason for going weekly, and there's sometimes a good reason for doing, you know, the binging model, because there are times that you just want to sit there and you're like, screw it, I just want to see the whole thing.
There should be, that's something that Netflix should really pay into with their software through their app.
Listen, don't give them any ideas, because right now what they're trying to do is the ad model. For all we know, they'll listen to something like this and say, so let me get this straight. We could have them at a certain tier. They get it weekly, but if they pay more, they could get the whole thing.
Copyright Panels to Pixels and Rob Moda.
So that would be crazy. It's like, oh, you know, like some people will be watching it weekly and we're like, I already saw the whole thing. So
exactly. But I give them credit, and that's pretty cool. And it's great to do that episodically, but unfortunately us, as we watch the show and we podcast about it, we have to watch it and binge it and watch it a few times. So that's the benefit behind it. You could also do that even if it was episodically, if we did it weekly as it was coming out, because usually on streaming platforms, you could watch it over and over again, just like on AMC Plus.
Correct.
I've been doing that with Interview with a Vampire that my friend Danny and I are going to be covering on Adrenaline Cinema podcast.
I still haven't watched that.
Honestly, yeah, I thought it was done very well, completely different from the book. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're purists out there and love Anne Rice's work as it's written in the text, stick to that and leave it to your own imagination. If you're somebody who's open-minded and a different idea of writing or how it's being presented from the book form and modernized in some ways, I think it was done very, very well. And the actors that were picked, I think, were perfect for it. It just gave me the same vibes as I did when I watched True Blood. You know, when True Blood came out, that to me was very original, but that was also based on a book. And then some of the Sookie Stackhouse diary books were different.
Right.
But, you know, honestly, I just love the fact that you could do that. But like I said,
does it have at least the same vibe as the movie, or
it does? It does have the same vibe of the movie. You do have the how Louis and I'm forgetting Lestat come together. The girl that's involved, especially within a movie that everybody loves because it was Kirsten Dunst.
Right.
And it was a white girl. In this case, it's a black girl, and Louis is black.
Okay, that's a good take.
So Lestat, and it deals within New Orleans because it was mixed, and so it's a different take. I do enjoy it when Danny comes on, when we talk about it on Adrenaline Cinema podcast with Lara as well. It's gonna be interesting for the fact because it's a completely different, and Lara, who'd read the book, is gonna give her ideas and thoughts, and to me, that's just like even with the comic realms, or even with this particular show that we're covering, it's a little bit different in comparison to the comic. It's not verbatim.
Right.
Just like with The Boys, when we covered The Boys. Herogasm didn't really play out as what we saw in the show. If you go back to The Boys, the last season of The Boys, and that weird, oddly episode that we covered, you, Steve, and I. And the thing is that these are adaptations, so some people would have a lot of problems with them. Okay. I don't really reference the comic for this particular one because I didn't really read it. I only briefed over it, but honestly, the way Steve and I, and with Rob, we just watch it as is. And I accept it as the story as it's coming, which is pretty cool. But if somebody else came in and sent in feedback and said, hey, this was different, I would research that. So keep that in mind, listeners. All right. But to get back into the episode, the one particular moment that I really did enjoy was Klaus and Ben coming together at one point. And this was the aftermath of the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. They were just starting to click a little bit, and then as soon as Ben was like, you're referencing me, you're trying to change me into this guy, I'm not this guy. It's like, I don't care how great he was.
I enjoy that because, I mean, look, one of my favorite characters on this show are Klaus and Number 5, and I think that's everybody's. I think Klaus is the one that a lot of people really like.
A lot of the ladies drift towards him because he's got that cute little innocent kind of attitude, and I'm so happy. And then
he's a character, man. It's just such a great character. Such a there's that part of him that is, and you've seen like the development of his character throughout all 3 seasons, which has been really cool. But it's just really funny the way they have done that character. And
then of more of like the bad boy.
The what?
The bad boy. He's like the bad boy. You don't get involved with the bad boy.
Oh.
He gets himself into a lot of trouble and stuff, even though he's like a little kid now. A little kid form. But I noticed that a lot of women were saying, but he's cute. In real life, he's really only 24 or 25. And I'm like, okay. Keep telling yourself that,
right?
But also people love Five's his gumption, his attitude.
Yes, I mean his one-liners are just fucking epic, man. I mean they're
the writers great. Got that down perfect.
It was so great, and the actor I forgot the name of the actor, but let me tell you, I think he's like 20 years old now, but in the he really has the spirit of an old man in him.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he's phenomenal at that with that role. But
his delivery is always perfect too. With his lines,
it's just he just has a way to deliver these great lines, and I mean, as a matter of fact, I was looking on YouTube the other day, and there's like a big YouTube video with all his one-liners. And it's just great. It's like I think like 20 minutes of that, and I was like, "That's amazing that they can actually do that." But when you watch it, you just kind of see, and you could really, really see how he has grown in the show. Because when in the first season, he looks so much younger than in the third season. But it's just his delivery is just phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm looking more to see him in other films.
Yeah.
As you look forward, because obviously we know Elliot Page been around forever.
Right.
Juno. What was that Leonardo DiCaprio movie everybody loves and I love, but I forget the name.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's all everybody going into each other's minds, and it looks like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh no, not Flatliners.
Deception? Inception.
Inception. Yeah, no, phenomenal.
Yeah. So they were in that.
I have that movie. It's just incredible.
I always forget the name. It's so funny. It's like I can remember and I could see certain scenes, but one scene really tricked me on trivia because it was a Lego person.
And she was Kitty Pryde, or he was Kitty Pryde when.
They played Kitty Pryde in the X-Men, the Fox X-Men series,
right?
And they made a name for themselves with the Umbrella Academy as well. Obviously, Juno was a big movie hit that they had done,
right?
And and also with the publicizing of their gender change and how they identify themselves. So I thought that was, we all know Elliot Page over the years, whatever it may be. But the one who plays Luther, that particular actor, I had mentioned too when Steve and I were covering it. He was in a Netflix movie not too long ago, In Between. So it was more of a rom-com. You get to hear his British accent. He's doing a little bit more. I would love to see the actress who plays Allison in more. I think she's very talented, and I'm pretty sure I have seen her in another film, but I just don't recognize her. It's like it's one of those things.
Yeah, Amy Raver Lampman is her name, and she's really good. Like I said, I liked her character this season. It was pretty good.
All right. Well, did you have anything like that you would want to top on that you liked?
Yeah, I mean, so as I covered before, I think Allison's the one other thing, like Allison being who she is, like the BS apology that she was just giving everybody because she was just trying to manipulate everybody, and you could see when she hugged Victor, it was just like that evil look on her face. Just you could tell that you could tell that was BS. Luther, actually, when she tried to apologize to Luther, he caught on very quickly.
Yes, he did.
On that. So I thought that was actually very cool. And like we were saying, Reginald being who he is, the way he kills Luther, which actually that I was so surprised when I saw that. I was like, holy crap.
Well, that was a hard one to watch. But that's what I was referring to before, because of Luther came to Hargreaves trying to like make his father happy.
Right.
At that point. And at that point, as Hargreaves winds up stabbing him in the chest with, it looked like a tendril. I don't know if it was a tail or a tendril.
It was some kind of alien thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then taking a tendril out of his hand, like his arm or something, and it looking like a sword and cutting across his chest as well. I don't know if his throat, but thus killing him.
It was he stabbed him in the heart and then he just cut him across the chest.
I thought so. Okay.
Right. So it could seem like it was the Guardians who came in and actually killed him. So, and then the really cool thing is, like, because when everybody was in the room, you could see where Allison looks at Reginald with suspicion, because she's, as we all know, the Reginald and Allison actually, somehow, did some kind of deal, but you could see that she was looking at him with suspicion, because she's like, this is not what I signed up for. So that was one of them. And then the other one, Reginald leaves Klaus behind. That, remember, he leaves them, like when they're all going through the portal. He leaves Klaus behind, and because he did not want Klaus to tell the others
Yes. He basically kills Klaus, but he forgets how Klaus can adapt with his powers.
Right.
And honestly,
well, he doesn't even kill him. I love the way Klaus actually figured out and said that he was, he's going to kill himself. But it was an epic way for him that he killed himself. So I just love the way he just kind of jumps, turns around, and in slow motion he gets stabbed by the white, the horn from the white rhino or the white buffalo that's in the
which was always been foreshadowing for the whole season because you knew that was going to be somebody's death.
Right. So, but it was actually really cool. And then it ends there. And I thought that was actually a cool way, the way it ended as he's looking at the entire world, just kind of disintegrate, But yeah, so it was, those were two kind of like the end. That's what made this episode so great towards the end was one, you're like, holy crap, they kill Luther. And then two, Klaus kills himself and he was smart enough to kill himself knowing that he could then come back.
Yeah,
but it's the fact that Reginald left them behind because he knew since Klaus can talk to the dead, he just didn't want Klaus telling the group that Reginald killed Luther. So, but yeah, no, it's a great episode, man. I liked it. I mean, I think last episode, this episode, and then the number 10 were just all three of them, I would say, is a good group for the ending of this. Yeah,
I would say too. The one thing that I liked about the, of all things, the death scene of Luther, but what Reginald actually says to him before he makes his strikes, he goes, "You know what they say about what event brings people together or their families together than a wedding?" He goes, "A funeral." And then that's when he does
he kills him, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was actually, I thought that was really good. And then, also when he left Klaus behind, it's like, you're just too much trouble.
Yeah. Well, it's, the thing is it's Klaus. And he is very troubled.
Exactly. So
there was another cute quote that I have too before we get into the next episode, but I thought it was pretty funny. It was Diego, and he says this to Lila. It's the one thing that every guy usually says if they're ever in a relationship, if they're married. He goes, "Why can't I be right just once?"
Yeah, well, if you've ever been in a relationship, that is true. One of the quotes I liked, was Klaus in the beginning telling Ben, "It's like, last night you opened your kimono to me." I was drinking something and I spilled almost my drink. I was just like, fuck, man. It's just his delivery is so great when it comes to that kind of stuff, man.
It's perfect. He needs to do more comedies, if anything. That would be perfect.
It was great. It was absolutely. But before we go into like the next episode, I mean,
sure.
I will say this. There was one little thing, how number 5, when he says, well, because what was it? Luther was saying, well, he was always so harsh when he was evaluating us. And number 5 goes, "Really? I always got a 5." That was kind of cute. And then, and I'll be honest with you, like the effects on this show were pretty great. I mean, just the Cougar Blitz eating the world. I mean, I thought that was a great effect.
Yeah.
But I would say this, man, the music, I mean, even though they only had 2 music, they had one by The Cure and the other one by Billy Idol. I mean, just the needle drop on this episode was great.
Well, that's the coolest thing about this particular show. I still go back, and my favorite memory of the show would be, was it a Joy Division song? It's about going into space, and you see the chimpanzee going into space when Hargreaves starts to train him to be an astronaut and everything, and before he comes down and starts speaking.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, to me, that was like the perfect. It was like a music video, and I still love it.
Yeah, so no, great episode. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to talk about the number 10.
All right. Well, with that, we'll move right along right into The Umbrella Academy Season 3, Episode 10, entitled Oblivion. So the synopsis of this particular episode is Luther learns about the afterlife. Over the Hotel Obsidian, Diego warns everyone against ringing the front desk bell unless they want to lose some appendages. The knife-loving Hargreaves also informs them they are unable to leave through the front door. Which is true. Thank you.
And it's revealed why after that, of course. So,
but it's kind of vague in some aspects. We don't get the final delivery of everything as to what happens, why the family is the way they are right now at this point, which is good. So if somebody hadn't watched like the last 4 or 5 episodes, they jump into this, they're like, well, this is new.
Right.
And then they just like, okay, because the synopsis won't really tell them much.
Right.
Except for, Diego's going crazy and Luther learned something crazy in the afterlife. He could have been sleeping for all we know. But but with that, initial thoughts on this particular episode, it's being the final episode of the season. What were your overall thoughts?
My thoughts on this, especially after they got back, some of the revelations. So, and we already said a spoiler alert, but the fact that the hotel they went into is not really a hotel, it's just a construct for a machine that they're in.
It's limbo in the universe. I always think of it as that, and built in with it's like I think of it more of the Catholic religion. You got your heaven, you got your in between,
right,
and you got your hell. So I think they're at that in between because they could float up here or there, and they're floating more down. Hell.
Well, I mean, you could see. So the way it begins, I mean, of course, is by seeing Klaus and Luther in like purgatory kind of
exactly.
Thing. So and then how I like the fact that Klaus is just kind of enjoying it while Luther is not even knowing what's going on, and then kind of figures it out. But no, the fact that, I mean, even Reginald says like this is a different dimension, and this is a machine, but the construct looks like the hotel because it was just made that way. And so I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, that's really cool. The fact that they somehow went through a portal to a different dimension in order to try to restart the universe. And it's in a machine that they actually did it. So I thought that was really cool. You get some, some dialogue back. You get some characters that try to make up for what they did wrong or something like that. Very well ended, and of course the revelation of Reginald, while we knew that he was an alien, I think it was just how shocked Allison looked when she killed Reginald.
Yeah, in this particular,
right, and slid like half his head off, and
it's all green mush.
It's all green mush coming out of it, and it was like I was like, oh, okay, that she seemed pretty shocked on that. I also like the fact that the Guardians somehow were made up by cockroaches.
I was trying to dig in the depths of my brain from the last 2 seasons to think of, was there cockroaches involved or insects? But also, in my thoughts, I think of movies in a sense where certain aliens are insects.
Right.
So it could be another alien race that was created to be the Guardian that fills up a whole thing to be that character. Not to point a joke at Kevin Smith's Yoga Hosers when you have the Bratzies and they all come together into this one big full Bratzi soldier, for you Kevin Smith fans.
They could have all been made out of cockroaches, but the fight sequences were actually pretty good. They were intense. Yeah, so I like the fight, how they fought the Guardians and how
the result of it too.
Yeah, exactly. So and then this is how you kind of also suspected that, okay, this hotel is actually very different from the other one, was that every time some of these characters will walk in through a door, all of a sudden they kind of walked in through a portal.
Correct.
And they would end up in another floor. So when you see number 5, well, you see, what is it? You see Victor, Allison, and number 5 are all arguing, and then Allison leaves the room. Victor follows, and as number 5 tries to follow, all of a sudden you see that he goes into a different floor, and you can actually tell because they show at a later time, they do a close-up of the number on the wall to show that it went from 3 to 5. But if you look very carefully, when Klaus comes out of the room, on the wall it says number 3, but as soon as he comes out, it turns into a 5. And it's a very subtle little thing that you just have to look for it. But it was just really cool, the fact that, and then of course, he's running into areas where there was supposed to be a hallway, now there's a door. So that's how you kind of suspect that, okay, this hotel is very different.
Yes.
So I thought those were really cool, how like it was trying to change. It didn't change much. Like I wish there was more of a crazier maze type of a thing, but I thought it was pretty good. Some other people thought it should have been more, and I was like, yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, you got to remember that they were putting their money a lot in a lot of different kind of effects. So
it kind of gave me the vibes of Hellraiser and the different chambers of pleasure that they would have at certain points. It's like, okay, this is their own little multiversal hell.
Right.
It's not the Event Horizon itself, but it is kind of hellish to them at certain points, because it either could give you extreme pleasure or extreme pain.
Right.
And we see that within this. So if you like that kind of response, that observation, please let me know.
So what did you think of the end? I mean, the ending was very...
the ending, that whole battle scene with Guardian.
No, I'm talking about afterwards. So when...
that's their version of heaven, in my opinion. I
don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
No, because
it's a new universe. Yes.
My thought is, because think about it. So Luther dies, basically. He comes back to help Sloan.
And goes for him via Klaus.
Right.
And then Klaus loses control and can't get him back.
Exactly. So
another power that Hargreaves tapped into.
Number 5 that all of a sudden has a severed arm.
Yes. Which is foreshadowing, because of the one that told him not to interfere.
Right.
And don't go through with it, because that was his future. So he basically got the future of the person that he spoke to.
Correct.
Same arm.
Yeah, and then so when you see towards the end, when like all of a sudden, because they reveal, of course, that, or at least it's revealed that the Umbrella Academy and their powers are the ones that are feeding this machine.
Yeah.
Because they got to look for the sigil, and they need 7 people in order to, stand on each star. They find the stars, and then
to create that sigil.
To create that sigil, and then of course you could see like the particles or whatever it is from their powers feeding the machine. Allison, then after she kills Reginald, then she presses the button, and all of a sudden everything just kind of blanks out and
goes away.
And then next thing you know, you see like an elevator open, and you see them all coming out. And so you see Diego, that he has his fingers back, because his fingers were cut by one of the Guardians in one of those episodes. See Luther goes back to normal. Like, he looks like a normal person now.
He doesn't have the gorilla body parts on him. He's regular.
Right.
Oddly enough, we're lanky looking Luther.
Yeah. And then number 5, of course, has his arm back. And they were all wondering what the hell's going on.
Yes.
But Ben.
We still have Ben. And that's the Ben from the Sparrows. That's not their Ben.
Well, that's the whole thing. Ben is like in Korea, and we don't know what Ben is this. And then of course Sloan is nowhere to be seen.
Correct.
Allison is basically the only one that got what she wanted because she goes, she now goes back to her daughter, her family, which is what she's always that's what she's wanted from the very beginning.
Correct.
Of this whole season.
No Sloan,
which is what that's why Luther was going a little crazy, going, where are they? And they have no powers.
Yep, and Lila's there too as well.
They lost all their powers, and then you see all of a sudden the camera tracks up, and you see that there is an entire city that's basically owned by
Hargreaves.
Hargreaves, Reginald, and then you see
his lady next to him.
Yeah, what was her name? I believe is Abigail.
Abigail. Okay.
Abigail. So Abigail, so he's done all of this for Abigail.
Yes,
basically what he did. So he's been manipulating the academy and making putting all these kids through all these things just so he could bring her back.
Yes.
But now he owns like this entire city. Like he has like real estate and, and business and everything. So then it kind of leaves you with the question, because season 4, because they did get approved for season 4. So season 4 really is going to be like, well, they have no powers. And now they're in a city that's actually owned by this alien. So how it's going to be very interesting to see
how they wrap it up too, because this will be the last season.
This will probably be the last season unless Netflix actually definitely pays for a 5th. But it's going to be interesting to see that, because there's a lot of things that came up and you're like, holy crap, what's going to happen next?
Yeah,
but it was good. I like the fact that they left it in such a weird way, and when you see from the camera angle from the top, there are walkways. There are like 6 walkways, and all the characters just take a walkway, so you can see that they actually walked away from each other.
Very much symbol-esque of the rug that we always said was the Shining rug.
Right. So it just. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to go about this. Yeah,
same here. Especially when they stated that that season 4 will probably be its last season. I don't know if they've confirmed it, but
they did confirm a season 4. If they are going to wrap it up on this season, hopefully they'll wrap it up really well.
Well, they stated for season 2. Going into season 3, that they for the past, like those first 2 seasons, that the way that a lot of the cast played it off and played it out, or even how they wrote it, was as if it was going to be its last season, because they didn't know if they would have another one. Right. So each season is like kind of a standalone, but also could add into something from the previous season itself.
Right.
So I think that's a very good way of writing, in a sense, so you don't leave people on a cliffhanger that you don't know if, it's like with this ending, we could just imagine that they find their own world as being human.
Right.
And
which, if it ended that way, it's still a cliffhanger, because you're like, whoa, what the hell happened here? But not as bad as, listen, we've seen a lot of things happen in the industry lately where seasons have had cliffhangers where that there was supposed to be another season, and next thing you know, the studio or streaming service just says, you know what? Sorry, even though it might be doing well, they're like, nope, we're just gonna cancel that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
There's a lot of shows out there though that did go on a high note, which I like. But the funny thing is, like you said, we've had those where it's like, wait, it ended? That was it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of shows out there. People are pissed because they just got canceled, and HBO Max and Netflix, and there's a few, man. There's just quite a few that have been axing shows like crazy.
Yeah, if you don't make the numbers, they're not going to keep you.
Exactly. In
Or-
some cases, they do make the numbers. It's just more of a what is it? They're trying to. I mean, look, we all know that these streaming services are not really making any money as much as they thought. I mean,
No, they're not. No,
know,
they're putting themselves even more so in debt, I think.
correct.
If you look at what Netflix has done, they're actually in debt. Some of if what was the DC platform at one point? They actually had their own, but they wound up selling it off.
Yeah,
to
they
HBO
had
Max.
they had DC Universe or something like that, and then it went
Yeah.
over to HBO Max.
Yeah, so they
But,
had to sell out to get themselves out of debt there.
Exactly. So, but
Warner
we've seen,
Bros.
we've seen the industry on how they've been going. So it's
Or,
interesting.
unlike Disney, where they could buy their old IP back from Fox, and or buy out Fox and have their own IP
Right.
back.
Which
and then
many
just-
have actually criticized that they probably paid way too much, because $70 billion is a lot of money. But
That was
they-
a lot of everything else, not just the X-Men.
no, of
Fantastic
course,
Four or
it's a lot
anything
of
like
everything
that.
else, and it's just,
Yeah.
but it has been criticized that it's a lot. But we'll see.
Actually, they
if
are capitalizing in that. Honestly, if you look
Not
at the
yet.
app,
not yet.
well, a little bit, because if you look at the app, there's stuff that's overseas that we in America here don't get for Disney Plus. We don't get a lot of the R-rated Fox movies that are adult rated or adult oriented in comparison. So Disney Plus there has a lot more to grab in that
Right,
foreign.
but having the older stuff and not making money of saying, hey, now we're going to make some new stuff. So
yeah,
so that's the problem with their that.
yeah.
I mean, in the long run it will pay dividends, but right now it's not. So
No.
that's why Disney's a little bit in trouble, and that's why you got
Bob
that's why
Iger.
Bob Iger coming back. That's a whole drama that it could be an entire show, of course. So
Of course.
we'll leave that for some other time. But
All right. Well, with that, I
Any-
think we kind of put the nail in the coffin on
Right.
Umbrella Academy.
Any quotes on the on this one? Because
No, I didn't get really any quotes on this one.
Oh, you didn't? I like. There was a few that I liked.
Okay.
I did like when Klaus and Luther were in the bounce house, and Luther's trying to convince him to go back.
Yeah.
And when he finally said, he's like then when he finally agreed, he goes, also, just like a motivational scale of 1 to Braveheart, this was more like half of Rudy. It's just, like I said, the Klaus character is just insane, man. And then there was another one that he goes, if I he was talking to, who was it? Oh, he was talking to Reginald.
Okay.
And Reginald, and of course Reginald giving him, I guess, whatever bullshit it was. He goes, and then Klaus bounces back with, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I would have $1, which isn't much, but in a dollar store. It's just there's some great, sometimes they have some great stuff that they come out
Yeah.
with that you're like, that is just, whoever wrote it, epic, man, epic. But yeah, like you said, I think we put the nail on the coffin on this.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to put the Umbrella Academy to rest. I'm pretty sure Mr. Steve Brown will probably give his overall thoughts when we start off Peacemaker about Umbrella Academy and, his feeling about the end of it. So we'll get his thoughts when we do that next episode. But plus, we'll get more interesting quotes too from that particular show. Honestly, there are a lot of interesting things about that show
I
we
look
want to
forward.
talk about.
I definitely look forward to revisiting Peacemaker, because it's such a amazing show. So
Yeah. So when that does come back, we will be doing that particular season 2 episodically. So episode by episode, because that's how
excellent.
HBO Max actually rules at this point. So, all right. Well, with that, we're just going to move into, obviously no feedback. I asked you guys. I didn't get anything, but, we'll let you know about feedback at the very end. But we're just going to move right into news. So with comic news, so let's talk about Ant-Man and Ant-Man and Wasp and Quantumania. We got the third trailer out now. I'm looking more and more forward to seeing this particular movie because I'm just curious about this whole Kang the Conqueror. I'm curious about the other characters within it. Hank Pym himself, his wife Janet Van Dyne, and what did Janet Van Dyne do in the Quantumverse at that point?
Right.
How does she know Kang? Because she had that look of fear because of Ant-Man's daughter herself, creating some sort of device, and then they all have to battle it out within the Quantumverse with a different Kang. I don't think this is the same Kang that we saw at Loki. So
I think, the great thing about this one trailer is that it kind of gives you a little bit more of an idea of what's going on or what could possibly is going on. Because the first trailers were very flashy and just kind of more eye candy than anything else.
Yes.
But on this one, you could tell that, this is going to be a movie where Scott Lang is going to have to make some decisions and might actually make some decisions that are more selfish than anything else because of his daughter.
Yes.
But also Kang, you can see, because the character of Kang in the comic books it's Franklin Richards,
everybody. If you read the comics, it's an alternate version of
Franklin Richards.
Yes.
Oh no, of Reed Richards.
Well, no, Reed Richards' descendant, which would be
descendant, correct?
Yes, of Franklin Richards, actually. Reed Richards, obviously of the Fantastic Four,
right?
has part in developing or creating who Kang is.
But when you see him portrayed in comic books, he's basically a blue character with these like lines down his face. On this one, it looks more like scars.
They are battle scars. Yep.
I forgot what he was called in Loki, but he didn't have those scars there.
No, he did not. This is a variant version of that particular. He who I don't know. He who something. Yes.
But but the thing is that you could tell that this is probably a different Kang. And there might be multiple Kangs. There might be a ton of different Kangs, out there again because of the whole multiverse.
There were at least 3 or 4 within, or actually 5 within the actual Marvel comics.
Right.
One of which that took over the mantle of like Iron Man. Wasn't Ironheart, it was somebody else. Iron Lad. That's who it was. And then he was a pharaoh.
Right.
In Egypt, in ancient Egypt, that battled the Fantastic Four at one point. We have the version of Kang itself, Kang the Conqueror, who we all know. And then there was another one that they actually did kind of have that historical view of who Kang was.
Right.
Within the Fantastic Four and explain the variant versions. But this is in later Marvel comics, everybody. So my best suggestion would be listen to Rob on Comics Explained on YouTube. He has the full gist. He has the full backstory of Kang the Conqueror. And in comparison to Loki, as well as what we're going to see in Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania.
Correct. So this is different. I mean, of course, than the comic books, but the one thing I liked was because in the Loki show, people complain it's like that doesn't look like Kang, and on this one they finally gave Kang that blue face. But they made it seem like okay, there's a reason.
It was part of a helmet, and it was part of the lighting,
like a force field or something like that.
It enhanced his scars. So it gave us that look, that classic look that we do see in the comics, where it's like a kind of a purplish kind of face with a bluish scar or a line down his face.
And then like sides. The costume and everything. So I thought that was cool that they still respected that, which is one thing that Marvel does very well.
A lot of Easter eggs that we get.
Correct. So it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, this came out. I look forward to seeing it. I already bought tickets, and I definitely already bought tickets. And I think that Phase 5 is I'm looking forward to see where they're going with this, because Phase 4 just did not impress me, and it did not impress a lot of people. But we'll see where. Hopefully, they can capture that magic back again, because Kang is a difficult character to kind of make, into like the
perfect villain for the particular phase.
I mean, comic books, he works, but we'll see. And then we have to see how Secret Wars and everything, is going to.
It's going to be multiverse based upon that original 2015 comic that came out.
So I'm hoping that that how you call it, Phase 5 finally starts to put things a little bit more together.
Yeah,
there's kind of a rumor that there might be a Fantastic Four character in the movie. That is not an official thing. This is something I got from somebody that probably got some insight into it, but that's not an official thing. I mean, it could just be rumors, so don't take it as like, hey, this is official. But I hear that they might be a thing where they might actually show Reed Richards and Susan Storm. Don't know if that's true or not. I look forward to see, so it'll be very interesting.
All right, cool. All right, well, that's it for about news. I don't really want to get into too much. The only other one that I would really like to talk about, but actually floats into podcast recommendations, The Last of Us came out, which is a video game turned into an HBO Max show. Now, our friends over at Podcastica, Jason has ended with Walking Dead cast and is now doing The Cast of Us, which is literally Ben Beck, Rima Joe, Jason, Lucy, whenever she can because she hasn't played the game. But you got a few, game players there that are huge zombie fans, huge game fans, as well as the show itself that we've been looking forward to being adapted. Right. They just got their first episode out and they just did their feedback, which is amazing. It was immense. So mine was in there. But I'm really liking on the idea of the show, and I'm loving what they're doing with the podcast. There's also a companion podcast too for The Last of Us from HBO. So they put that at the very end. Rob, what did you think of the actual episode? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did watch it. And so I'm not going to say I'm a huge gamer. I do, I play games. Don't get me wrong. I do play my games, on my PS5 and a Xbox X. I played The Last of Us only for about maybe half an hour, and then after that, not that I got bored of it or anything like that. It was just I just moved on to something else and never went back to it.
Okay.
But I would say that they kept with the way it's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very much. They did change slightly little things in the beginning, but just not much. From what I've been hearing from people or journalists out there, is that they have gotten their hands on all 9 episodes and they've seen the whole thing.
Yes.
And they said that this is basically... So here's what I would say. And I would say it just like they said. This show is not really meant for those who are the gamers. No. And I say that because every time there's a video game interpretation...
Every gamer gets upset.
Right. They get upset. It's like, oh, it's not like the game. It looks different. They change things around. Just like we talked
about it with Uncharted on Adrenaline Cinema podcast.
Exactly.
A lot of people, you have to see it from both perspectives as a movie fan.
Correct.
As well as a video gamer. In my opinion, since I played the whole game all the way through and watched the first episode, I was trying to grab for my controller for every time I saw... Sarah going through in the very beginning, because that's how I got so used to it, because certain scenes were scenes for scenes in the story plot within the game, but you weren't killing as much.
Exactly.
At that point, you kind of were driven out and then you were based more within the story, and you could understand it's like, okay, I'm not playing a game now. I'm actually watching the show. This is like not a YouTube watch through. It's like 4.5 hours
Right.
that the people do. It's a gameplay all the way through with the story plots. But it is a little bit different. And I will say this, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because honestly, that's how Interview with the Vampire will be from Anne Rice's novelization to that particular adaptation.
Right.
Rima and Paik were going to cover Mayfair Witches, or according to Paik, Mayfair Mitches. he got it. Or Wayfair Mitches.
Right.
I forget how he joked about it, but gotta love Paik for saying that. But the thing was, just like, Rima really couldn't do it, and I understand it, because if you don't have any love for it, she watched the first episode and she read all the books and said right away, I can't podcast about this because I can't get into it. Now, this one thing, whether you can get into it on an extreme, I hate this, but a lot of people don't like to cover stuff and say they hate it all the time, because it's not really fair to the listener. You have to have some sort of duality to yourself. Some things that you do like about it, or some things you just don't like about it,
Right.
but you still overall love it to some degree. So I give her her credit, because she's right in saying, it's like, if you're not passionate about it, don't do it. So they announced they were going to do it, and they said no, but I was going to continue with the Anne Rice Interview with a Vampire. But they that, if you look at that, that was very different from the source material.
Right.
The video game is very different from, which is the source material, to the show to some degree. But if you look at certain scenes, a lot of them are verbatim. You're not going to get
here's what they said, because this is really interesting. So,
okay,
out of all video game adaptations, it is the one that is the closest to the source material than any other ones out there.
Yeah.
So by season 4, they say season 4, they say episode 4 is going to do something slightly different than the game, but then after that, episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are basically shots for shot of the actual video game.
Okay.
Plus all the dialogue is exactly the same. Basically, they say you're basically looking at the video game. So
Okay.
they were saying, so a lot of people are like, well, if I feel like I've done this before, like, to them it was like, okay, so this has been shown, but so that's why they're saying this is not for gamers. This is for people who have never played the video game,
Correct,
or never even heard about it, because of the storytelling.
The story
being
itself.
so great.
Yeah.
Which it is phenomenal. So for me, like I said, I played half an hour of it, but the rest of the story, since I haven't played it, for me it's intriguing, because it's like, okay, this is actually great writing. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the show and seeing how that goes
It progresses. Yeah, I feel the same way. I started a quick replay, and what I can remember, and trying to catch up. I pretty much got up to where the second episode is.
Right.
I haven't gone back yet. Work and everything, and life happens. But I actually
this
enjoyed it.
podcast, did the second episode come out? No, not yet.
Not yet. But
okay.
where I am in the game right now is where the second episode would be.
Oh,
But
I see.
the funny thing is though, throughout the first episode, there was exact dialogue. And somebody actually on TikTok or Twitter or whatever had put side-by-side comparison.
Correct.
And it's wild to hear Pedro Pascal and forgetting the girl's name. Forgive me. But they did it exactly as it was from
the game and stuff. And that's what they said.
Each side by side.
Right. And that's what they
cadence.
said. Yeah, that's what they said. They said that it's basically the same. It's basically the game on film. That's what it is. There might be some slight changes, and the reason for some of the slight changes is because while you're playing the game, so perfect example of that is, so when you're playing the game in the beginning, you're the girl that's actually just walking around the house. So you get to see little tidbits of, okay, what the family is. You get to see some of the like her room, and you kind of get to know who this person is. Well, you can't do that in a in a show.
Mhm.
So they kind of put some things in there in
Sure.
order to let you know how she. But then after that, it just became the game. So yeah, I look forward to it. I think it's actually, I mean, Pedro Pascal is phenomenal in it. It's Let me tell you, it's I believe I heard that it was the second highest viewing in HBO Max history.
Huh.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah. So that it's great. So yeah, I look forward to that.
All right, cool. Well, next up, well, like I said, we're going to be talking a little bit more about like podcast recommendations. So, just to let you guys know, watched it in the 80s. That's on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network by Damien and his friend. They talk about Rain Man on this current episode, which is pretty cool. Coming up, if it's not been recorded already, but they will be doing it, Run for Your Lives, covering The Menu with Anya Taylor-Joy.
I still haven't seen that.
It was actually pretty cool. You could find them on the Podcastica Network as well as The Cast of Us with Jason, Rima, and Ben. And they're actually doing The Cast of Us. And you got Daphne and Paik on Podcastica doing Run for Your Lives and covering The Menu. So, yeah, a lot of good and great podcasts out there that our friends do. Well, Rob, your particular podcast, do you want to enlighten everybody what's going on with that?
Sure. I mean, my podcast called Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. So what we do is we take overhyped tentpole movies that were that was supposed to be a big hit and they turned out not to be. So movies that either critically or financially just did poorly in the box office. So what we do is we do a fantasy pick on it. So we go in, we analyze the movie on what went wrong, we could have done right, and of course, pick out. We play film. Let's say we play filmmakers, and we get our own cast, we get our own director, and we do go from there. Also, we do a top 5 movie draft. So depending on genre, depending on actor, and what it is, so with those are usually a lot of fun. And we're adding a section on basically the state of the Star Wars universe. And what we mean by that is, while a lot of people out there will cover some of the episodes and things like that, we're not only covering that, but we're actually covering what's going on behind the scenes with Lucasfilm and, and the state of that. So we have a lot of great things planned. We actually did our season 1. We just finished it at the end of December. And we're going into season 2 probably in I would say in another 4 weeks. Or as of this podcast, I mean today's what the
19th.
The 19th. So yeah, so probably I would say maybe I'm thinking probably in the middle of February is when we'll do. But we'll definitely announce it. As we get closer, we'll announce that. But yeah, it's going to be actually more exciting than it was before, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and as always, Rob will probably be on here or Adrenaline Cinema, depending on what we're covering. So keep in tune for that. To show more shout-outs, we're going to go right to YouTube and who we cover with that. Grim Life Collective interview with Shelley Long. That just came out not too long ago. That's pretty cool. Michael and Jessica, as we all know from the Grim Life Collective, are co-producing a horror movie that are out there that Shelley Long actually is involved in. So they had a lengthy little interview with her outside her car, which is weird, where she lives. But it was cool that they actually got it, and I thought it was something pretty cool to bring up. I'm going to have to say Sean Clark and Chris and the Thing with Two Heads podcast that you can find on YouTube as well. And they had Nick Castle and Mr. Warlock himself, the two people who played the Shape. The one who played the Shape in Halloween 1 and the Shape who played in Halloween 2. The Michael Myers themselves, both on one podcast. So you could see that with Sean Clark and Christopher Nelson on the Thing with Two Heads podcast on YouTube. and show a little bit more love and to show our support, because Rob and I are both big Kevin Smith fans. As you all know, I did the interview with Kevin, way back when. And at the time, Kevin had COVID, but he's going strong and has been doing a lot of things. He's been doing a lot of live events. Clerks 3 has come out. He did the whole road show with that, seen the movie 89 times in the theater. And with that, he bought himself his own theater. And that's Smodcastle Cinemas, which is formerly the Atlantic Highlands Movie Theater or movie show or complex that Kevin used to go to as a kid with his father. So he bought that with him and his friends. So it's still a mom and pop shop. Kevin's name might be on top of it. Smodcastle will be all over it. It's still a living movie theater. There are events that Kevin will be at and I have been at. One of which that I mentioned on the Facebook page. And yes, guys, we do have a Facebook page, and I'm sure you listeners who are regular know this. I had posted that I was there for a night with Kevin Smith, and we watched Batman 1989. So Kevin introduced the film, was there for a good, half hour longer than he should because he had a family emergency and he had to get flown out really quick that night. He had a last minute call. But at the end of the night, they had some auctioning of stuff, some comics at that point. And Mr. Michael Zapsik himself from Comic Book Man, who runs the Jay and Silent Bob Secret Stash on 65 Broad Street in Red Bank, New Jersey, he gave some answer and question stuff at the very end of Batman 1989, which I hung around for, which was pretty cool. So it was a good event to go to. It only cost you the cost of a ticket. Like I said, there was an auction at the end. And the reason for the auction is for this. Literally to get the small independent movie theater going. They rely on ticket sales like any other movie theater, but the more that you pay into it, the more it stays around, the more you get to see movies like this. Yes, Kevin's name is on the cinema. He is a part owner, but they still need money to come in. So if you feel the need and you want to just go, come on, Kevin's name's all over it. Hell, Kevin's been there almost every week for the past 2 months promoting this. And I got to see him last week. And this is also a plug, yet again, a plug, not just for the Smodcastle Cinemas, but thatkevinsmithfanclub.com. So you could easily go there to thatkevinsmithfanclub.com or however you want to call it, TKSC. You could easily just join up. There are different variations, but with that, you get some privilege. So the last one I went to last week, I went to see Iron Man and Kevin was there. He was there for the whole night. I think he was actually recording while the movie was playing in another room. He was probably recording with Mr. Mark Bernard on Fat Man Beyond, because I heard something in between. I'm like, that sounds like Kevin. What? Somebody playing that live and loud? What's going on? It was him. I think he was recording.
It could be.
I didn't get him to say anything. I really didn't get a chance to talk to Kevin that night. But the cool thing is that at the very end, he did a Q&A. Instead of auctioning off comics at $20 a pop, $60 a pop, or whatever, he'd been selling, auctioning off stuff from the Secret Stash and things of that nature. Little cool doodles that he did. People want Moose Jaws, so he has his thing of Moose Jaws that he could doodle. Sold that for $150, $160. He did 3 of them. So those are the little cool things you could do, and then it actually pays into the cinema. The coolest part is being part of that Kevin Smith fan club, because little did I know, at the very end, waiting at the very end of Iron Man, I was going to get called because they said, all that Kevin Smith fan club members, please stay. I sat right back down. I'm like, what's going on here? Am I in trouble? And basically, they wanted us up there for Wake and Bake. So you might see me on YouTube eventually for the Wake and Bake with my goofy ass, my hands in my pocket, don't know where to look, and everybody else saying how they felt about the movie. And he was looking for one word to describe the feeling about the event itself. I was that man. Now, mind you, I was on the far left of the man himself, and he looked at me like, and I think in the back of his head, he's going, "What the hell are you doing here?" All right, so I'm on film, and it's cool that you could actually have that little bit of interaction with Kevin even after that. I got to talk to him for a little bit. The one question he had for me is, "Why are you here?" To see a movie with you. And to have what I said at the very end of that particular thing, fun. And that's what it is. It's fun. So if you are a Kevin Smith fan, you love Marvel films, you love Batman, they're doing the Fat Man Beyond's doing and continuing. They're going to do Batman Returns.
Right.
The Merry Marvel Movie Society is going to come back. They just did Iron Man. They're going to continue on in sequence and do The Incredible Hulk. So check that out and have fun with that. But yeah, that's a nice plug for them. So if you're somebody local to New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it's within hours of you just to make an event for the day. Kevin has multiple, and I'll only rattle off a few. One of which is, well, Mallrats, Night of Mallrats with Jason Lee and Jeremy London for a Q&A after you watch the movie is already on play come tomorrow night, Saturday, the 20th. But I'm sure they're going to have video up on there regarding that. You're going to have Josh Roush's film series, Rauschman. And that's literally all the documentaries that Josh Roush does for Kevin Smith, which would be Walrus Yes, Magnus Opus, the Clerks 3 documentary, and one of Josh Roush's original movies himself. After that, there'll be an all night with Clerks, and that's where you could sleep with Clerks. Unfortunately, Mallrats one is sold out, and so is the Clerks one. But the Clerks one is a pretty cool one, so I wish I had jumped onto it, because literally from 11 o'clock on, you sleep overnight in the movie theater. And Kevin is there too, by the way. He basically said, if you buy tickets, you must wear your pajamas. So he wants everybody in their pajamas. So that means, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Those of you who bought tickets get to be on film in your pajamas with Kevin Smith. I'm curious as to what he'll be wearing. But
I still haven't met Kevin Smith personally, so I mean, I'm glad you met him. But I mean, I'm a fan of his, but I just haven't met him yet. Hopefully, one day I will.
Yeah, I'm sure your paths will cross. He's a lovely gentleman. Like I said, it's easy for you too, as a fan, to meet him if you go to Smodcastle Cinemas. There are live events at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. He's having a signing on the 22nd. At the Stash. So if you really feel that you want to do it, go get your stuff tagged by Kevin Smith. The cool thing is, though, every time I went to one of these movie events, and I'm saying it, if you go to the Incredible Hulk one, there will be a comic book or something signed in the bag for you, because it comes with the ticket. So I got 3 Marvel comics and a little cool mini poster of Mr. Kevin Smith himself signed, which was drawn by Nate Gonzalez, which is in the Stash too. He has a whole book of posters that he does for Kevin, Bernardin, Ralph Garman, and everything that he's done when it comes to Fat Man Beyond.
Yeah, their podcast and everything, all like their intro art is on this book. Yeah, I've heard about it. I hear that it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Just all you have to do is go to smodcastleCinemas.com, Jay and Silent Bob, SecretStash.com, that Kevin Smith fanclub.com. Get all your information there. Obviously, catch in on the cool stuff that's there, and then just show your support to the Smodcastle Cinemas. All right, so we're going to wrap this up and move right into feedback because I mentioned it, and this is going a little longer than I thought. So, well, we could be heard because you're hearing us already on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player choice you use. If ratings are available, please give us a rating or review. One or any of all the platforms, Apple Podcasts, if it's there, please just give a review and thumbs up. That's one that's being heralded a lot. You could just go to our website. Still under construction. I'm working on that. Yes. I keep saying this, but I am. Panels to Pixels podcast.com.
I'm working on mine too, so don't feel bad.
I need to yell at Ming Chen. Maybe he could help me. I already yelled at him.
I'm just being lazy. That's all it is. So I gotta get on mine.
You could, as always, we always post what we're going to be covering next. Yes, Peacemaker is next, and yes, I did post an image and where to send your feedback to. There's an image. You just put the comments below the image saying, "Hey, we're covering this soon. Please leave your comments." So just go to facebook.com/panels to pixels. We're on Twitter @panels to pixels. Unfortunately, nothing new there yet because Mr. Brown covers that. So Mr. Steve Brown will be back within the next episode and we'll get back on track. Same thing with our Instagram, which would be @panels2pixels podcast spelled out specifically. So we'll get on track with Twitter and Instagram. But you could also send your email feedback as regular texted email at panels2pixels1@gmail.com. Just write it out, a full email. We'll read it right on the podcast if we get it. If you feel that you need your voice to be heard, all you have to do is record yourself. Anybody can do it. Record it on your phone, set it as an attachment, and send it through that email, and we'll play it. And then we'll comment on it as we listen. We could also be heard on YouTube. All you have to do is search Panels to Pixels podcast. While you're there, and subscribe if that's your preference or preferable way to listen to the podcast, or give it a thumbs up, which actually helps us out. I would like to get monetized. I actually have the videos for Kevin Smith, Ming Chen, and Mike, as well as Marilyn Gigliotti, who I just did the interview not too long ago of from Clerks 3 and Clerks, who you know as Veronica. Yes, I'm working on more people to come on. So it'd be cool. But other than that, next episode we'll be covering Peacemaker Season 1 as a whole. Rob, Steve, and myself. As you know, Rob could be heard on Fantasy Picks Movie Edition. So keep an eye and check that out. You could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. So by the time you get this one, I believe Invasion of the Body Snatchers from I'm forgetting the year. It's 70 something, but it has Donald Sutherland in it. And Jerry and I had already covered it and recorded it, but it should be up by now. So you could check that out. So with that, that's our show. Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. I'm Mark.
I'm Robert.
And this was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next panel. Good night.
Good night.